following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go.
What is this?
Giggity, 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 goo.
Who else but
The Q.
it's showtime?
Gentlemen, let's get down to business.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the QNow. You're listening to the best pop culture, current events, and current affairs show east or west of that Mississippi River, hailing from the great city of St. Louis and worldwide at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland, joined by my co-host, as always, one Mr. Jason Cole.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Bunkered up.
You're bunkered up once again.
Right?
The bunker shows have
Hey.
become legend.
They
The
are.
bunker shows are legendary. They don't get put out very often. I might actually do a double because I the last show and then out this. Either way, doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Christmas 2024.
Right around the corner.
We are here. It is Christmas time. And this is our show that we do right before Christmas. We don't have any guests, as we know. In the bunker, we're not doing a lot of guests.
We don't just let anyone in here.
We don't let just anybody into the bunker. Now, we have offered it up to some people, like
Yes.
the Jonathans
Things
of the
come
world.
up.
But things come up.
Things-
It seems as if the Biden administration and Kamala have slunk back into their corner and are not talking.
Yeah.
And I get it a little bit. Me and Jason, we're gonna break that one down for you guys a little bit. It's Christmas time. We're going to discuss Christmas everything. Sure, right, Jay? You're into Christmas. What are you doing over there? What's so important? What are you looking at?
Checking out
What is
some news.
news? What kind of news do you got? You know what? You check your news out, and as soon as I get done
Gotta keep this topical.
introducing this show, I want to hear your first big news topic you got, okay? And what would Trump have to do to make you and your family, Jason,
Yes.
rebuke and refuse to absolutely go along with whatever is going on?
He wake up tomorrow.
Okay, now,
That would do it.
welcome to the show. I was perplexed, Jason, as I
Yes.
told you off the air. I was perplexed leading into the show before we got on here. I didn't feel like there was a lot going on this week. Like it was kind of a slow week.
Still
not,
is a little.
not much went through the weekend. It was just, there's just still the lingering appointees Trump has put out there. But then right before showtime, sir,
Yes.
oh, something juicy did drop into the
Yeah.
lap. And we definitely have to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that the United States Congress needs to fund the government moving forward
It does seem that way.
for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
And that certain amount of time evidently doesn't jive
Yeah.
with the likings of one Mr. Elon Musk.
Yeah, an immigrant, by the
who
way.
Who is a South African
Yeah.
who immigrated to the United States.
He's an immigrant.
And he is not a natural-born citizen at all, which
And
is
not-
fine.
Or a member of the government whatsoever.
Not a member of the government whatsoever at this point in time in history. Joe Biden is the president of the United States. He still is until January of 2025, when they will do the ceremony and the inauguration and hand it over to Donald Trump, where a guy like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and all these individuals will become into their positions of power at that time. Now, prior to said time, though, they are not in positions of power. And it seems as though Elon did not like some plans that were involved in the potential
Sure, it has something to do with
pushing
his
out of the government
business.
funding.
It's something with his business. Probably
I'm sure it
funding
is.
for another corporation, a
It
rival.
always
something.
is something
It's always
special.
about them. It's never about you, Trump supporters. It's
That's
always
right.
about them.
And that's the best part about it. Remember, we're dealing with narcissism and fame.
Yes.
That's what is most important. Remember, Elon loved likes and clicks. He likes people clapping. He wants to clap.
And he wants to be liked,
He wants
just
to
like
jump
Trump.
up into the sky in the form of an X.
Yeah,
with his
pretend to
hands in his
jump.
video like he's a part of the YMCA.
Looking
And
so
he
ridiculous.
wants you to clap for him because that's what people do. That's what clowns do is they want you to clap for them.
Yes.
Now, This clown has decided to basically stick his nose into federal business.
Yes. And you know what?
When he is not in power, Jay.
Let's say in 2026, the Democrats get the House.
Sure.
And they're going to pass a funding bill, and Taylor Swift says, I don't like that bill.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Democrats cave. What would MAGA people say?
What would they say
about
What would they
that,
say,
right?
Jay? What would they say?
Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't be, way to go.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
we
fine.
need to
We're
get
cool
rid of
with
that. Yeah, stop that bill. These uneducated people online are irritating, and it's getting worse.
Now, if you are a Trump supporter, we still feel sorry for you.
Very much so. It's pathetic.
We know that you were rused. We know that you are now going to get pushed around because that's the type of people that Republicans tend to be. They're easy to push around and manipulate. That's why there are nicknames, the stereotypes, the problems, the issue, like all of it, guys. It's not just one thing. I was going to try to pick apart like a piece here or there. But Jason, when there's 50 things, how do you talk about all 50 and give them all the same value that they deserve?
And we've said it many times on the show. Every bad thing that happens to us is going to happen to you too.
That's right.
You live
you
here
have
too.
To live here in this country.
Do you understand that? When they come through and they start doing these things, you get it too.
I feel like in this situation, though, Joe Biden needs to kind of step forward as president of the United States. It might be time to sit down, Elon, with a little talk and explain to him, say, listen, I hope you understand what you're getting yourself involved in here. And I hope you understand what's on the line. And those are 300 million plus Americans that they have free independent will and thought. And if a lot of them get together and have free independent will and thought against whatever you think, it's going to be nasty.
You know what I would do?
It's going to get nasty.
If I'm Joe Biden, I bring Elon Musk into the White House, right into the Oval Office, and I sit him down and I tell him, listen, Donald Trump is only going to be president for 4 years, and he is going to screw this up so bad with your help that Republicans will never win the White House again.
Oh, you're going to ruin your own name.
And
see, here's the thing. What people don't realize, Jay, and you just kind of hit upon it, but it's from the first term. Every single person who, for the most part, worked with Donald Trump in his first term is not there.
No.
This time around.
This is gonna
all
be
of those
chaos.
people have left. They all learned that Donald Trump has zero loyalty.
Well,
and because he has zero loyalty, he is willing to throw people under the bus. And that includes Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well,
they just don't think it'll be them every single time, Jason.
The second thing I would tell him, I would be like, you're not even 50. You better run for the hills because they're going to come get you. Because there's no way he is going to illegally maneuver money, no bid contract, all kinds of stuff to him.
Oh, yeah, he will.
Push it to him. He's going to get regulations that affect him lowered.
Yep.
He is going to commit SEC crimes.
I don't know if he will or not.
He already did
has
with Twitter.
the ability. He already has
He
the
already
ability.
did with Twitter.
Did he?
He bought up all that Twitter stock before he came public that he was going to buy it.
Well, here's the thing with Twitter, though. You know, once again, we're back to the likes and the claps.
Yep.
Like, it's about fame and notoriety.
Yep.
It's always about fame and notoriety. And by the way, guys, I work in a business where fame and notoriety are part of it. I literally sit here, and so does Jason, and we watch people come and go, and we watch them break down.
And you see what they do to ruin it.
Listen, we watch normal people that we consider decent human beings that we'll sit down and have a beer with, me and Jason. We'll watch them make decisions and moves around us for absolutely zero reason whatsoever, and we have no idea what's going on and why they would make those moves, but it's just astounding to us. It blows our mind every time.
I mean, at Twitter now, if you're blocked, now you can see the person's post. You just can't.
You can't interact.
You just can't interact. That 100% was done because Elon is supposedly the most blocked person on Twitter.
Right.
He wants to know what all these celebrities who have him blocked, what they're putting out, what they're typing. I mean, I'm sure
what
he
they're
has
saying.
1,000
He
burner
wants
accounts.
to be able to read the comments.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
wants
fine.
to look
and
at
it's
it and see it.
And it's the problem. You see,
it's all about him.
You're just a 3-year-old child who's been told no, and you need to stay in the corner. And here's the problem. We're not going to put you in the corner for 5 to 10 hours. You're going to stand there for 5 minutes. And it's going to feel like 5 to 10 hours. But that's just the way punishments work. They always feel like they're a lot longer. Now, Unless you go to jail for 25 years, then yeah, your punishment feels like 25 full years. Like it sucks.
And if you ever listen to him talk, really listen to him talk, Elon Musk, he's not a genius.
He's not.
He just talks really fast and he doesn't stop. And it sounds like something is coming out. Yeah, the accent helps.
So, I was sitting here.
And he's got that pause that makes you think like he's deep thinking.
So I sit here thinking here with you.
It's all
Jason,
fraud. I mean, he's definitely smart. He's not an idiot. I get that.
Jason, calm down.
That's it.
Welcome.
That's what he does.
Jason, welcome to Tesla. Here at Tesla, we are on the constant verge of trying to get to Mars at all times. We've blown up rockets without human beings on the planet. But listen, we are on the verge of taking human beings and putting them on Mars. Now, I don't personally have my hands involved with the day-to-day operations, Jason. Here at Tesla, I tweet a lot.
Yeah,
I like to tweet. Have you ever been on my platform X?
Right.
X.
Everything's an X.
Have you been on
right?
X yet?
SpaceX.
Have you been on X? Have you been on X?
Right. You know when I would have named something X? When I was 14. When I was 14, and you know what? Me and a friend of mine, when we were like 13, 12,
Right.
13, had a fake band that we wrote lyrics for, and the band's name was Hades.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were 13.
And you thought devil, Hades.
Yeah, and we wrote songs about Satan and the devil and murder because we were 13. And guess what? We grew up and stopped doing that.
Yes. Listen,
Hades.
It's just funny. I've got a story here for us,
That's a
Jason.
real thing.
I got a story for us. The House Ethics Committee voted secretly this month to release its report on former Representative Matt Gaetz, reversing a prior decision to withhold it. The report, expected to be made public after Congress adjourns for a year, concludes a years-long investigation into allegations against Gaetz, including sexual misconduct, drug use, and misuse of campaign funds. Gaetz denies the claim, citing a separate DOJ probe that cleared him. Initially considered for Attorney General by Donald Trump, Gaetz later withdrew, resigned from Congress, and announced plans to join One American News Network, OANN. Speaker Mike Johnson opposed releasing the report, arguing it's unnecessary since Gaetz is no longer in Congress. The decision to release the report suggests bipartisan support. Through some believe Gaetz' resignation aimed to bury the investigation. Despite leaving Congress, Gaetz remains active in GOP politics and committed to supporting Donald Trump. So, basically...
that was what I was trying to look up as we were opening the show.
So basically, they threw Gaetz under the bus.
Unanimous decision from what I understand.
This is the real Trump supporters throwing the MTGs and Gaetz to the wolves. That's what this is. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand. There's individuals who are Republicans within the Congress, okay? And they are not what you would consider diehard MAGA supporters or Trump supporters.
What's his name?
They're going after these guys because they're appointees. The Kash Patel...
No, the wheelchair guy.
Oh, like Greg Abbott.
No, the one that
Madison Cawthorn.
Cawthorn. That's what it's. They're getting Cawthorned.
They're getting
Cawthorned. You know what?
Right,
you know
exactly.
When you just said throw MTG to the wolves? You know what I just thought of in my head?
Right.
The reason they're doing this to Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to see her starting to get pushed out. And because
they're trying to alleviate the crazy.
Because those two can't keep their mouths shut.
Right.
And there are going to be a lot of illegal crap going on.
Right.
And they're going to talk about it when they go on Newsmax on the way in.
Right.
And so they're
pushing not only that, I feel like that this is kind of a two-part situation. I brought up on this show before, Jason, if you remember, that I felt Ron DeSantis would turn around and give Matt Gaetz that Senate slot that has been up. Is that Rick Scott who left?
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
If he gets,
Marco Rubio.
And I'm sure he'll get confirmed.
But I'm just saying, Matt Gaetz could be given that slot. Like, that's a position that could be given to him, so he could be right back into the Senate or Congress or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter.
Rubio would definitely get confirmed. I mean, he's pathetic, but he's good. He'll be good in that role.
Right. And so Gaetz will probably take Rubio's seat, and that's just the way that would work.
Yeah. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though.
Now, the reason, and this is the reason why I think that this is coming out.
Yeah.
I think that this is being released because now that piece might be in play, they want to get it out in the open and on the table. Like, it's already been released.
You know what?
The report's out. It's already been released. That was a month and a half ago. A month and a half ago, we released a report. Nobody's really said much about it or talked about it. I put Matt Gaetz into this position where Marco Rubio used to sit.
Yes.
And now he's in this position, and no one's going to question these things because
Mark,
Trump will be there to protect all of that.
Mark this down on this show. You watch whoever DeSantis appoints to Rubio's position, that person's people pushed for this report to get leaked, to get put out.
Oh, for sure.
So the pressure was put on the ethics committee by whoever wins this seat. And if he appoints Laura Trump, then you know they're all getting Cawthorned. Because it was Trump.
But if you find out it was Gaetz, then he did it to get ahead of it. Like, he did it on purpose to make sure he was protecting himself.
Then he maybe knew it was coming. I mean, he put out a statement basically calling it BS. And he took a shot at the Congress, too, so that's not smart.
Now, how's that for a Christmas present for America, though? I mean, laying bare how messed up one of Trump's disgraced cabinet nominees really is. But will it matter? I mean, they love criminals over there. They love the criminals over there.
It won't matter to them because they're pathetic and they're long gone.
And now it's time to call MTG on her bluff and have her release all those pedophiles, right?
Yeah,
the pedophile,
right?
pedophiles.
It's always about kids.
It's always their nicknames. It's pedophiles. It's
that.
about kids. It's about genitalia. It's about sex. It's always about sex stuff. It's always about anything that has to do with weird sex associated stuff. I don't understand their infatuation with all that stuff. But they're constantly talking about it.
Every day on Google and type in like sex abuse arrested, rape arrested.
Right, sure.
And it's always a Southerner. It's always it's
Florida
pastor.
Man? It's always Florida man?
Yeah, it's always a pastor. Republican county.
Speaking of pastors who might get lawsuits, you see Trump with that hair when he stepped out of that golf course or whatever it was.
You know what he looks like? He looks like Rutger Hauer.
He looks horrible, man.
But like Rutger Hauer in like a crazy role.
Literally, if he takes his hair and slicks it back and starts wearing like a silver suit, that's what they look like at a super church before they get the lawsuit that takes them down forever, right?
But look, I mean, it's
how Joel Osteen's dressing now, right before the church goes down.
It's a youth pastor, it's a councilman, it's a county executive, always a Republican, always MAGA, always, and their bio is always about Christ. You know, it's always talking about Jesus.
Now,
meanwhile,
Jason, on this amazing show here,
yes,
it is Christmas.
It is Christmas,
and I don't want to.
Fortunately, the bunker has no music.
I do have a tournament of pop culture for us. It's a small one. It's a small one because there wasn't a lot of great options.
Hey, in the bunker, you have to ration.
But in our tournament of pop culture, I think you're going to like it. I think this is going to be a good one that we can break down a little bit and we can sink our teeth into. Let's
do it.
Okay? But before we get to that, I have one more topic I want to talk about. The incoming Trump administration plans to significantly impede electronic vehicle adoption in the United States, according to transition team documents reviewed by Reuters. The administration intends to abolish EV subsidies, including the $7,500 federal tax credit. Okay, so less people will buy.
Yeah.
No problem.
And your best friend.
Reclaim federal funds allocated for EV charging infrastructures. Okay, so we won't build anything to help them out. So that's going to not help sell those cars.
Be interested to see where that money goes.
Block EV battery imports on national security grounds. Okay, cool. We won't have it involved in any federal anything. Great. So you'll be saving money there from people that sell electronic vehicles named Elon Musk. Okay, hold on. Prohibit federal agencies and the military from purchasing electronic vehicles. So you don't even want the opportunity for these things to exist. No. Now, mind you, I do understand the importance of gas and coal and fuel. But when it really comes down to it, at the end of the day, the most important thing on this earth is wood. That's the thing we can burn that keeps us warm.
And you can regrow
outside of wood, we don't have a lot of things unless we produce them.
Right.
Like gasoline. We have to produce the oil to turn it into gas. We don't just grab oil and then just pour it into stuff and just light it on fire and just say, there it is, it works. Right. That's not how it works. So the only thing that is literally formed that we can get access to without any real production means that is a fuel of some sort is wood. Yeah. That's it. Now,
wood burning cars.
You can do mines, right? Yeah. There are coal mines.
Yeah,
yes, you can get coal. Coal is fine, but coal only can do so much.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't run trains on coal. We don't run cars on coal. We don't do anything in the United States on coal, and coal takes a long time to get heated up. Like its core temperature, it's tough. Okay, so we have wood and we have coal. But you guys keep doing these things with gas, and it's like, okay, you're ruining electronic vehicles that are going to require gas. Except for I can take wood and I can burn it and I can make things turn to create electric. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't need gas to create electric. I can create electric without gas.
Yes.
It's not necessary.
Wind.
Water.
Wind.
Just literally the idea of a
Hydroelectric, yes.
simple water turning plant.
Right.
That's it. Can produce a lot. We also have, guys, nuclear that we use.
We have a water electro.
Like here in Missouri, we have Callaway County. We have Callaway County here, like where the reactor is.
Yeah, they
we
rush the water through the spillways, and that kicks it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I don't understand what going after this is. And by the way, why not have some electric vehicles? Why not have some things?
And you know what's funny about them is they talk about this archaic way of governing, and they need to revamp government, make government more efficient. We're getting into the new wave, but we're using coal, burning coal for our energy, and oil and gas for our vehicles.
Now, additionally, the administration plans to roll back Environmental Protection Agency fuel efficiency standards to 2019 levels. Okay.
Right,
increasing allowable vehicle emissions by approximately 25% compared to the current regulations.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
25% more.
But it doesn't
emissions.
matter because a bunch of the cars that have been made over the last 10 years fall under the old rules and the regulations as well as the new rules and the regulations. So guess what? The cars ain't going to change. They're going to just have the same emissions.
You know,
that they
the
had
last
before.
time he did this when he came into office, he pulled out of the Paris Accord thing.
Right.
And immediately all the top car manufacturers and a couple other manufacturing corporations put out that big joint statement that said they're not going to stop doing the way that they were doing it before.
Right. The move contrasts sharply with the Biden administration policies, which aimed for 50% of the new vehicles to be electrified by 2032 to reduce emissions by 56% from 2026 levels.
And that's a bad thing somehow.
The Trump's team strategy also includes imposing global tariffs on battery materials. Once again, with these tariffs, man, he is
make
really
things more expensive for you.
Why does he think this is a punishment?
Right? It doesn't hurt them.
Why does he think
maybe they don't sell as much stuff, but
Trump, listen,
more money.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason you need to elect people like myself specifically,
I'd vote for you,
and people like Jason is because we tend to pull. I am a hardcore moderate. I pull from both sides. Listen, Donald Trump, way off here on this. These are punishments for ourselves. This is just going to hurt our own country. And I also need Donald Trump to understand something. Like, you don't need to punish everybody for everything. You see, like, I understand that we are the biggest dog on the block in the world. And I understand that we have the biggest military industrial complex compared to everybody else on earth. And I understand that we can push people around and be bullies if we want to. It's the fact that we know that we can, that we don't have to.
Yes.
That's the most important part of this.
That's the most powerful.
The most powerful is knowing that you can at will at any time and just not doing it.
No need to.
Basically, you're playing with your prey. That's how good you are.
Right?
You're a viper playing with the mouse. You're just batting it around with your tail as you literally let the rattle just shake off to let it know this one tooth right here with a little venom. You're gone. It's over. And all I have to do is just go like that. And I don't even have to bite all the way. Done. But I'll smack you with my rattle. Like I'm a rattlesnake. I'll just smack you around. That's what this is. And why would Musk be all about this? Why would he even want to go down this road? You see, you built your name off the electric vehicle aspect. You think that everybody associates you with space. No, they don't. They associate SpaceX with space. But SpaceX never screams Elon Musk.
No.
The only thing about it is that X is the name of the platform and also shares SpaceX's X. Other than that, there's nothing that makes anybody go, oh, that's Elon Musk's company. Tesla, on the other hand, when you say the name Tesla, you think Elon Musk. It's a part of your company. So if you wanted to maintain brand recognition and your value in the United States, listen, if Henry Ford even better, let me go one step better. If Westinghouse decided that he wanted to, not Westinghouse, Jefferson, or not Jefferson, who was the two, Tesla and the other scientist that created lights. Light bulb.
Edison.
Edison. Okay. Let's use Edison as an example, okay? If Edison wanted to claim that he helped design washing machines and was able to create the current and all of that for those things and like run his name value on it, he totally could. He has claims to being a part of designing and creating these original things because George Westinghouse was the guy who was funding a lot of his stuff behind the scenes. So he was involved in a lot of these projects on top of designing electricity for America, creating the light bulb, telephones, things like that. This is what I'm trying to explain. He laid his name on the valuable things that gave him the most value, like lights that lit up America. Everybody knows what an Edison light bulb is. Okay, like he didn't try to go for the other little things he could have totally taken claim for. That's what Elon Musk feels like here. If this is where you go, you're like throwing all of your value and brand from your electronic. And by the way, you are, and I hate to admit this, you are in a Henry Ford kind of position in American society right now. Like you are a part of that cutting edge with SpaceX and the people that are trying to do technological advancements in our world. But you have to stay there to have that value. Now you think that you bought the presidency of the United States, and I know how you think you bought it. You're going to run with it for 4 years and let him do whatever he wants, but you're going to make him do what you want because you bought it, and he is going to be forced to. Then when the time comes, you're going to have him abdicate to you. Now, Jason, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Serious, dead serious question.
Yes.
You're an adult, 52, 51 years old, 51. If in 4 years Donald Trump hits the pulpit and says, I know you guys were thinking we were going to have a national election. I know that you thought there was going to be Kamala versus Trump again, or Biden versus Trump, or Trump versus Hillary, or Biden versus Clinton, or whatever it is. I know you thought it was all going to, Obama versus Obama. You thought it was all going to happen. But we are no longer going to have a national vote. I am now going to just maintain my position as president of the United States, and that is where it ends.
What would
you do?
That.
The question is what would you and your wife say, and what would you do?
What the F?
You would say what the F, of course, but what would you do?
What
There's nothing you could do, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not in any position.
Do you see? This is what we were trying to explain to you. None of you, with your little vote in your rural county in Iowa, Nebraska, Montana, some dumb place where Kristi Noem's in charge. Who cares what place it is? My point being is your little vote. Yeah, it gave you that and it made you feel good and you got on your thing and you hit, Trump 2024, whole bunch. But now you got this guy from South Africa throwing electronic vehicles away. They're going to throw away the vote possibly. Donald Trump can make these. Like, all of this could happen. It didn't happen. We haven't said that it is happening. What we said is it could happen. We've seen indicators that these are things that they've thought. Mm-hmm. They literally have said these things out loud. You don't vote for me now. You won't even have to vote in 4 more years.
Yeah.
Just do it now.
Literally said that while he was campaigning.
Literally said that in the middle of the campaign. Guys, I'm not making it up. Go look it up for yourself.
You know, here's the crazy thing about this crazy plot that they're trying to hatch up is his absolute and most of their absolute ignorance on how government works and how things are passed and done. None of that can happen because he won't have the amount of states.
I saw
to change anything in the Constitution.
I saw something interesting.
Yes.
If you go back and you look at the 2024 election, Trump pulled 34 states.
30, I think.
30. Okay.
30.
Okay. Look,
yeah.
Let's listen. Let's even be conservative in our number that we use. Right? Let's just say 30. Let's just say it's 30. Okay. Just to be fair, let's say it's 30 states that he pulled. Okay. He only needs 8 more, technically, to do over ratification type things that we're talking about. Like the idea of going in and altering the Constitution of the United States in some major form or faction.
Yes.
Because he would have the majority of states and their governors. Now, how hard do you think it would be to find 8 more states and impose or put the money behind with an Elon Musk or somebody who's got that time. See, here's the funny thing. Once again, every accusation is an admission of guilt. Every time I hear about George Soros cutting checks and buying shit,
it's all them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got Elon Musk literally doing it and standing next to the man while he does it. He's the rich guy who's putting the money behind politics and saying that he's physically doing it. So you don't have, listen, this is how dumb you are as human beings, Republicans. You don't have a problem with George Soros. You literally have a guy who does it on your behalf, and you call him Elon, and you love it when he did it for Donald Trump. So if George Soros wants to do it for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or some other politician, he has every right to, and he's fine. He's absolutely fine. We're going to give him what we like to call now the QNow immunity. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He now has QNow immunity. That's right. The QNow, the show with Jason and Mark over here, now just waves our hands above the microphones in front of our faces, and then we just go, the QNow immunity applies. And by the way, I'm going to give it to him. George Soros is cool. He's 99 years old. He can barely eat pudding, and you think that he's sitting there on Twitter worried about how you're talking about him, and then cutting checks based off of your tweets that get a bunch of hand claps from others.
Imagine if George Soros came out and told Democrats, if you don't vote for Biden's nominees.
Now it's his son. Now it's his son who's pulling all the strings.
But imagine he did that. You don't vote for these nominees, I'm gonna get you. I am gonna get you. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna primary you. That's nuts. And that's what he did. He told them, I will primary you if you don't. It was what's stunning?
Right. How about, you know what?
Maybe the FBI
Jason, maybe we've been approaching this from the wrong point of view. Maybe we've been, you know what we need to do? Here's the problem. We've been approaching this from the idea of, hey, listen, we're liberals and moderates. We're not technically conservatives. I'm a hardcore moderate, so I do pull from the conservative side. But, like, we're not hitting them where it hurts, or we're not catching them in their heart. We're not tugging on their heartstrings, okay? So, Jason, maybe what we need to do is explain it from this point of view.
Yes.
You guys need some form of an expertise so that you can, like, hang your head on it, right? Like, you like the guy who looks cool while he does all the fake gravy seals training and stuff with you.
Like those two guys almost blew their heads off.
Right, like the guys that always, like, they're at the range and they have to pull, like they're coming around a corner on a perp, like things like that. But they're at the range and they're just shooting at a target.
The perp is Jim, their neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. The perp is not even a perp. It's just the guy standing next to him that they like yell at and go, stand back. Like, okay. So you need expertise. Let me give you expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, have you been watching politics in the last 5 years in the United States of America? Oh, good, you have. That's great. Then you saw January 6th where Josh Hawley, the senator from the state of Missouri. Do you know where the QNow emulates from, Jason?
Yes.
Do you know what state the QNow is currently broadcasting from?
It is Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah. Oh, wow. So we're in the state of the guy who threw up the Nazi fist and let you guys all know how cool it was to be down with that. Okay. Along with that, every other single move you've seen has come crazy from Missouri, right? Like everything Missouri does on the national scene always is a nutso crazy over the top thing. So my expertise is knowing the crazy. There it is. I literally know the crazy because I have to research it and watch it from my own state as it affects national politics constantly. So trust somebody who understands the crazy of conservatives in a red state in 2024 with Donald Trump having just one presidency of the United States. That's our setting. That's why you should trust me and Jason. We're telling you exactly what's going to happen because it's probably going to happen. We just explained the Soros aspect. We explained the every accusation is an admission of guilt aspect. We've even tried to hit you with expertise of, hey, listen, the reason you should listen to us about all the crazies being crazy is we got so many crazies here that we literally have put a few up, and you guys know Josh Hawley. You know he's nuts. You know he's nuts. You love him. Every time that there's going to be a special hearing on something, he's going to be the first person screaming at everybody. A few other things have happened this past week, Jason. AOC was blocked by
I
Democrats
saw that.
from becoming a bigger player on the oversight committee. But why? I don't understand. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain why I don't understand. You guys have already lost so much. Why hurt yourself further?
Right.
If you had the position to put her in a position of power or give her an opportunity that typically wouldn't be there, right now is your last chance to really do that before Trump takes power. But why would it matter? Like, here's the thing. You guys think that... All right. Once again, Jason, I'm back to this question. I just asked you, how would you and your wife react with the whole vote thing? And you're like, what the F? And then I'm like, what would you do? And you're like, there's nothing we would do. Okay, cool. Let me present you another idea here, okay? They decide on the first day of Congress to just come in with police and start arresting every congressman that was elected by your votes to be put into those positions, including the Matt Gaetzes, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, all your crazies you love, right? The Rick Scotts and everybody. Like, those, your Rubios, those are your players. Like, they're a part of that too. They just start coming through and arresting people. Now, your voice is not being heard. Your vote is not being counted. You live where Jason and Mark do in Missouri, far away. You have your own life. You're not a part of that. What can you do? What, ladies and gentlemen, will you do if that happens? Will you view that as, oh, okay, let them just arrest politicians willy-nilly, however they see fit? Oh, I feel that you were bad, so now you're coming with me. Oh, I feel you need to spend the next 6 months in jail. Come with me. Like, that's what we're talking about. You guys think that this is stupid talk. They also thought it was really dumb 5 years before 1935.
Yeah.
In 1930.
Yeah. They'll never do that.
In 1930, they'll never do it. It would never be like that.
How would they do that?
How would they do that? There's no way.
I mean, all talk. Just talk.
I know that they talk like that, but they're not these people. Yeah, we're telling you.
It's their policies. I really like their policies.
Americans are the most sophisticated animals on the planet Earth. Americans are. Not any other culture. Don't get it twisted. Nobody else rocks with guns on their hip 24/7 the way the Americans do. And literally, let me explain this to you. Even in Central American countries where they have gangs, even in Mexico where they have cartels,
and those guys are
thousands,
bad dudes.
Those are bad dudes.
We saw those videos.
The majority of regular people might or might not have guns, but at the same point, the majority of people don't just rock them all day long like a cartel member would. Americans literally will drive to work in the morning with it on the seat right next to them, on their persons, on the gun rack right behind their head. Literally, you're dealing with the country that is the most sophisticated and educated while walking around with the deadliest known thing that you can get your hands on day to day as a human being. Okay, if we are telling you as Midwestern red state human beings that were born and raised in these red states, we're telling you these people are willing to do that thing right there, you should trust us.
Yeah.
Straight up, you should trust us because we're coming from a very educated position. We're not saying these things because, our college professor told us. No. What they teach you in college is how to recognize things, how to learn and how to break things down, how to use things to your advantage, teach you techniques and tricks. And these techniques and tricks can be templates that you can use in other ways in life. We've talked about on this show many a times pulling out and how we are good at that in politics.
Yes.
That's why me and Jason are successful in this show. Guys, we're on a Fox News station. We're on a conservative radio network.
Surrounded by them.
Surrounded by it. And they put our show on every single week. Do you understand? That's how good we are at what we do. Yeah, we make our mistakes. Yeah, bad things can happen. Sure, FCC, whatever, great. Whatever.
We just bunker up and come back stronger.
We bunker up, we come back stronger.
We're like Obi-Wan.
By the way, while we're in the middle of talking about all this stuff, Biden's got some opportunities to do some pardoning right now.
Yeah.
And I think he should do like that Little John guy Remember, he's the one who released the Trump and Elon Musk tax stuff to the media and all that?
Yeah, get
which
those guys.
basically, let that dude out.
Yeah, that would really burn.
Listen, when Julian Assange does it, they can't get on Twitter and Parler enough to let everybody know him or this girl over here or this guy who did this to the military.
Heroes.
Does it? They're heroes because they let everybody know all the nasty things. The nasty things that the government did. Wait. Who's the government? Oh, well, the government. Well, that would be my cousin Tom, who's literally over in Iraq right now, defending the United States of America as a part of our military over there. He's a part of the government that's so evil right now.
Part of that woke military.
Who else? Oh, my aunt. She happens to be a secretary for this one state congressperson in Virginia. Like, they have a lot of things that they have on say in the state, and that state has a lot of say in the nation. So, like, it's like, you guys keep attacking that which you create yourselves.
Yes.
It's your own selves. When you're talking about the deep state and all this, you guys think, oh, because these guys were on an Alex Jones show and talked about the government being evil, that they could never be the bad guys. No. Listen, there's a famous cliche. If you ever want something done, all right, you find the laziest person and you give them the hardest job, and they'll find the fastest way to do it every single time because they're lazy. So they'll find a way to get around it as fast as they possibly can. And here's the funny
Especially
thing.
if you tell
I
them when
know
they're done, they're
that you
done.
think that you're like, what cool cliche. What's that got to do with it? Listen, you can learn a lot. Like, you could get 3/4 off of their little stupid work they do to get out of the job. You can get 3/4 of the way to where exactly you need to be so that you can go, oh, okay, cool. That's how you utilize an individual who might not be showing their potential in a proper way. You can utilize templates like that. This is the college thing. This is what we're talking about. This is being educated, showing you how these things break down. But when you've got a guy like a Julian Assange, or you got a guy like this Little John guy who wants to, like, out some bad guys, yeah, the bad guys might be the ones who were on that Alex Jones show.
More than likely.
They could be, because those people like to think about different ways to do different things. Listen, Donald Trump loves what more than anything on this earth, Jason? What else?
Money.
There it is. You said it. Listen, everybody knows this cliche too. If you ever want to get to the root of a problem, just follow the money.
Yeah.
Every time. Follow the money every time. Now, if Donald Trump loves money that much, and this man just sits there in an office at a desk all day long with enough time to even create fake PR people for himself to call others around, you've got that much time. You've also got time to think about the nefarious side, to think about how you would use this or that to your advantage to steal the money, to take the money, to get more money. How would you get rid of that regulation right there? How it would benefit you and so, but it would hurt such and such over here. Like, you would think of those nefarious things, and then you might go on to an Alex Jones show because you're just popular. Now all of a sudden you're Kash Patel and you're there. Now you have the ability to shut things down. Now it's a problem.
There you go. Speaking of Kash Patel, why is it so important for Elon Musk that Kash Patel gets confirmed?
Is it okay with the American people, once again, Jason and Mark in Missouri, if Kash Patel just decides, I'm going to shut the entire FBI down? Now, that represents Mark and Jason. Mark and Jason know that there are FBI field offices in St. Louis and across the entire country. We have FBI agents that are doing real work. You know, my wife said something funny to me, and I don't talk about my wife much on here, but she was with a police officer who was promoting Trump and how awesome it was that Donald Trump won the election. And there were other people that were standing around. They were arguing down against that, considering the things that my wife's involved in her work. And this individual was like, why would you not like this to so-and-so? And that person said specifically to him, because of what we do for a living, I don't want a felon who's convicted by any means whatsoever to be in a position of power, considering most of the time I put them in jail. And by the way, that's when this officer, this individual, who shall remain nameless and wherever they work, sent like nothing. It's not going to come up.
It's one of many.
one of many, said, well, all that was false. It was bull crap. It was lies. It was all that, right?
Go. Yep. Now the law's bad.
Except for that's when this individual, who does happen to have a position of power within the world, turned to this individual and said, so does that mean all of your cases, they're all just BS, all that stuff you turned in for all your different little detective works that you've been doing, that's just all BS and we should just ignore it? Like all your work, we should just ignore it because that's what those guys were doing for that case on that guy.
Yeah.
And that guy's name was Donald Trump. Your guy's name is whatever it is. But, like, do you want me to just ignore that or so-and-so to just ignore that or whatever? Like, is that how you feel? Because if that's how you feel, then your stuff's just as valueless as that guy's stuff was. So, fine. Now, you sit here patting yourself on the back every day about how you put bad guys away, but the first time you are told, hey, I think it's great that this bad guy got away with it, they turn around and say, literally your job is the opposite of what you just said. You should literally be on everybody else's team with this. You sound like you don't even know what you do for a living. That's how dumb some of them sound. Do you understand now, ladies and gentlemen? That is a person that has the right to put handcuffs on you and take you to a jail. I don't care who that person is or what their name was. It doesn't matter to me. The idea that that person holds a position where they could arrest you. Crazy. They could pull you over. Now, they're cool with being in their position of power. I'm not saying that this individual would do that or any of these individuals would do this, but I'm just saying if a person's in that position of power and has that at their disposal, who thinks that they wouldn't possibly think about the ability to maybe benefit themselves in some way? Come on now, ladies and gentlemen.
And not to mention a guy who sat there and watched that guy's colleagues be beaten by American flags.
By the way, you're all a country who love to do this. Let me explain how many back the blue, thin blue line license plates I see driving around. And you're not police officers. You're not police officers at all. You're not. The benevolent sticker on the back of the thing, whatever it is. You guys, you're just wanting to get out of tickets because you like to speed. That's illegal. You like to be criminals. Now, you're like, how dare you? I've never been arrested. Yet. It always comes down to yet. We just said in 1930, they weren't thinking about what was going to happen in 35.
That babysitter was only 16.
Not yet. Everything's not yet. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked enough politics and BS.
Yeah.
I've got some stories. We can talk about those afterwards, but I think it's time, Jason.
It's time
for us to
bring on
to the Tournament of Pop Culture for Christmas Edition 2024. All right, Jason, you're going to love this because what this is 8. We have 8.
All right.
It's not a tournament. It's not a Sweet 16.
It's an Elite 8.
It's an Elite 8
right?
of the best Santa Clauses in movies.
Okay.
All right.
You really only need 8 because there's only so many.
And there's only so many, but let's go down this list. All right. We're starting off in the number 1 position.
All right.
With Tim Allen himself.
Okay.
From the movie The Santa Claus.
I don't like Tim Allen, but I do like the Santa Claus series.
Now, explain to everybody why you don't like Tim Allen.
Because he's a hypocrite. He's a former cocaine dealer who now talks about people of color and lower means as... He's a Trumper.
He's a Trumper, ladies and gentlemen.
Now he's a higher moral authority. And he exposed himself. He's just a bad guy.
Now, in this first round, Tim Allen, who does play a good Santa Claus.
Those movies are great.
Listen, the Santa Claus movies are probably some of the best, straight out there, just generic, solid Christmas movies.
Christmas movie.
It's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's a Disney.
Yep.
It's not meant to be anything more or less than your best solid Disney movie, okay? Bed knobs and broomsticks and all of it, okay? Yeah. That's what it is.
I don't even think the first one was the best.
And by the way, I'm going to give Tim Allen credit where credit's deserved. He does a great job as the Santa Claus in that movie. Yep. He looks the part. They do it. But see, once again, it's about the beard. It's about the hair. They can make that up with makeup. So... it only goes so far, right?
Yeah.
But there is personality that's put into some of these. Yeah. Tim's personality does shine through in some of these cases.
He
it
already kind of made noises anyway.
For the movie to be entertaining. Yeah. And by the way, these movies do come out at the peak of his career, when he is on TV doing home improvement and TV shows. So, this works out to Tim Allen's benefit. But He's got a tough first round matchup, bro. He's going against the Santa Claus from the movie A Christmas Story. The one that kicks the kid down the slide. Now, that Santa Claus, that's a solid Santa Claus. Right? Like, that is, listen, okay. On here, we do have Billy Bob Thornton. He's coming up. We're not going to talk about him quite yet, okay?
He's a terrible Santa Claus.
We got bad Santa, but, like, this guy who plays the Christmas Story Santa Claus, he's not quite Billy Bob Thornton, right?
No.
He does kind of have the like, garbled face, mouth, teeth, kind of like...
He was definitely a whiskey drinker.
He comes off like as the whiskey drinker in the 50s who works as the mall Santa. So he really nails the part well. And then, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. Like, he's got a classic line that people recite.
Store's closing.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Right.
Listen.
Fantastic.
I at least have a line from A Christmas Story that Santa Claus says that I can repeat to people, and then they'll go, "Oh, Christmas Story, you'll shoot your eye." That's what Santa Claus says to the fucking kid.
You don't have that with the Santa Claus though. There's no
I don't have that
line really
with Tim Allen. I don't have that with Tim Allen. Now,
I mean, the whole movie is.
Which is better though, the Christmas Story Santa Claus or the Tim Allen? I feel like the Tim Allen has more personality to work with, so I think that's why he's probably going to win.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go with Tim Allen in this case.
It's like the Santa and Christmas Story is just a part of a great movie, and the Tim Allen is the movie. So that's
right. Yeah. I'm gonna go Tim Allen on this one. I just feel like he wins on this. That's an easy move for him. All right, now up next we have Edmund Gwynn from A Miracle on 34th Street, the original. The original back in the 30s, 40s,
that wasn't
whatever
hair and
it was.
makes. I think that guy really had that beard.
That really, he really did look like that, and that really was him, and he was a gentleman by the name of Edmund Gwynn. He is going up against Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa. Now,
two of those.
Listen, Edmund is obviously at a disadvantage here.
Yeah, that's
because
too classic for me.
Billy Bob does a great job as just an absolute piece of trash
he's just
Santa Claus. But
and an even worse
is it a Santa Claus thing as
Not
much
really.
as Edmund McGuinn is, or is it more Billy Bob's character? It's just this a drunk loser who's trying to constantly steal and scheme everything. What's the deal with you and sandwiches, kid? Like, he started asking the fat kid about sandwiches and why we kept making him sandwiches and stuff. Like, there's so much good stuff in Bad Santa. Yet, I will give Edmund Gwynn his props for being a very authentic Santa.
Yes.
And, by the way, a caring Santa.
Yes.
Right? Virginia,
there is
a Santa Claus. So, listen. And, by the way, for many years, one of the most famous lines in movies, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Like, that was one of the most iconic lines in Christmas movies.
That is true.
It still is to this day. I don't have that with Billy Bob. Yet, I do have two movies with Billy Bob. I know that his character is popular. I know that Santa is hilarious. And there are some Santa moments that are very entertaining in that movie.
Yeah, I think he gets it, right? I mean,
actually, I'm going to go Edmund Gwynn.
All right.
I want that authentic. You're going to go Billy Bob.
Right,
All right.
We'll go analog in the bunker.
We're going analog in the bunker. We don't have the digital here, but we do have a dime. We have a heads for Edmund Gwynn and a tails for Billy Bob Thornton. And we're flipping it, and we let it hit.
Billy Bob.
And it's Billy Bob Thornton and Bad Santa that moves on, ladies and gentlemen.
Smelly,
That's going to be interesting.
Gross Santa.
All right. Now,
suit.
Up next, have you seen the Christmas Chronicles, Jason?
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
Kurt Russell.
That's fantastic. He might win.
Really good.
Fantastic, right?
As Santa Claus. Like, it's weird, but then again, you know what? You know what Kurt Russell has? And it's not surprising, because I'm sure if I go and look it up, we could probably find a movie that Kurt Russell and Sam Elliott were in together at some point.
Probably.
He's got a very Sam Elliott, Kevin Costner type thing going on for him, where he can play that older man well,
right?
And he does it with a certain panache because of all that years of expertise within the game of acting. Like, he understands it. And he comes off great in the Christmas Chronicles.
Yes.
Now, I don't think the Christmas Chronicles is all that interesting of a movie. I find it
I
boring.
like the first one.
The first one was okay. It was solid. Like, once again, no better or worse than the Santa Claus 1, 2. Like, a very solid entry
It was
out there.
Yeah, a nice Netflix movie.
Now, he is going up against
What that got?
a Gen X icon to an extent, sir. He's going up against David Huddleston's Santa Claus the Movie Santa. Do you remember Santa Claus the Movie? With the candy canes that would power the sleigh.
Oh, okay.
And it was from 1985.
Yes.
And it was him and the reindeer. And it was a very popular Gen X movie. Now, David Huddleston does a fantastic Santa Claus. And for many years, I pictured my Santa Claus the way David Huddleston played it in Santa Claus the Movie. Now, it's a one-off movie.
Yes.
It's not something special or anything. It's got Dudley Moore in it. Okay, he's a part of the movie.
He was Arthur.
And it's a good movie. It's a solid movie. Once again, just a solid entry like Christmas Chronicles 1. All right, nothing great. I like David Huddleston's version of Santa Claus better than Kurt Russell's. I'm not saying that Kurt isn't good. I like Kurt, but I think David's is better because I think at the time that David Huddleston plays it, he has a lot of people that he can play from. But your typical Santa Claus at that time was, in most of the movies, kind of a straightforward. The dilemma was mostly with the people around them, trying to believe or not believe in them.
Yeah.
Whereas you have some of that in this movie, like they sprinkle it in there so that there's a little bit of that belief aspect. Yeah. But this is more of a story about Santa Claus himself and the things that he's dealing with as a person. It really personalized him to me. Way more. The kind of way that maybe a kid in the 90s got personalized with Tim Allen in the first Santa Claus movie. I'm going to go David Huddleston over Kurt Russell.
I got to go Kurt.
All right, so we're back to the time, man.
Right?
The Christmas tournament of pop culture's got a lot going on in it.
Who's who?
We're going to go this time. Kurt Russell is heads.
Kurt was heads.
And David Huddleston is tails.
Mr. Huddleston is tails.
There it is. Throw it in the air. Throw it on the ground.
David Huddleston.
David Huddleston moves on.
He's the victor.
Santa. I like that because I do think he does a great Santa Claus. Now, doesn't mean he's going to win. Last round, last matchup here in this first round, we've got Vince Vaughn from Fred Claus, Jason.
Okay.
Versus Ed Asner as Santa Claus in the movie Elf. Remember, he plays Will. Now
he's
Will Ferrell's dad.
Well,
dad. Well, yeah, his dad, not his caretaker dad, but like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
he plays Santa Claus and thing.
What about Artie Lang's Santa Claus in Elf?
Yeah, that's not a bad one either.
Right?
That's not a bad one either. I'll hold that off to the side for a second. We'll put that off to the side for a second. It's funny that you brought up Artie Lang. I watched a documentary on him just a couple days ago. Vince Vaughn as Fred Claus,
yes,
who plays Santa Claus at a certain point in the movie.
Yeah, he's like his cousin, right?
He is. And Ed Asner as Santa Claus in Elf. I'm gonna go Ed Asner.
I am too.
I think Ed Asner is just
scene alone.
Well, it just makes more sense.
Well,
like I feel like he did a better job as the character than Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was more about Vince Vaughn being Vince Vaughn.
He's Vince Vaughn,
which isn't Santa Claus to me. You see what I'm saying? All right,
he's pretty much Vince Vaughn.
So Ed Asner moves on to the next round. Now we are final four, sir.
All right.
We have Tim Allen from the Santa Claus versus Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa. I think in this case, okay, Tim Allen plays a great Santa Claus. He really does. I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Now, does the character that Billy Bob plays when he is Santa Claus and within it as good? I mean, that Santa Claus is great because he creates all that havoc. Like, he just is constantly just stepping all over his own tail. It's fantastic to watch. It's a train wreck, ladies and everybody loves to watch a train wreck. They really do.
Come on.
This is best Santa Claus. It could be a train wreck that could be the best Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It could be. Does Tim Allen beat Billy Bob, or does Billy Bob beat Tim Allen? I'm going to go Tim Allen.
I was going to go Tim Allen, too.
I hate to do that to Billy Bob.
Yeah.
But I feel like Tim Allen just does a much better job as Santa Claus. Now, this is interesting. We now have David Huddleston from the Santa Claus, the movie from 1985. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Versus, it's not a bad movie. You'll enjoy it. Versus Ed Asner from Elf with Will Ferrell. When I break these two down, it's interesting. Did you ever see Santa Claus, the movie?
If I did, I tried to look it up.
You probably don't remember it.
I flipped it up on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know if Ed Asner is better than David Huddleston as Santa Claus.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's not designed for him.
It's not designed for him.
He's a character.
And in this case, David Huddleston is Santa Claus the whole movie, like on purpose.
Yeah.
And there is a new entry. We have J.K. Simmons, who's in the Red One movie, as a jacked Santa Claus, which is hilarious. I'm going to go David Huddleston here over Ed Asner.
Let's go to the dime.
You want to go to the dime? You're going to go Ed Asner. This is dimed up a lot, man. Here, let me flip this time.
He's the reason.
Here, I'm going to flip this time. I'm going to flip this time. We're going to do heads David Huddleston,
all right.
tails Ed Asner. The flip is in the air. The flip is down. Heads David Huddleston wins. So David Huddleston is in the final. So we are at the final, sir. David Huddleston versus Tim Allen. Best Santa Claus in a Christmas movie. Now, I know that I have nostalgia built into David Huddleston. Tim Allen at Disney, they put together a solid product there, and it's really hard to argue against Tim Allen.
I'm curious to go back and see.
I think that in this case, Tim Allen is the winner of the best Santa Claus.
I think you're right.
In Santa movies or in Christmas movies. So I'm going to go Tim Allen.
See, the first Santa Claus was received well, 73% on the
That's what I'm saying. Now, what did the other two do? Let's get into that.
Number 2, 55.
Okay.
And the third one, 17.
Now, go find me Bad Santa real quick. Find me Bad Santa and tell me what it's.
You know what's
the
funny?
First one, just the first one.
You know what's funny is the third one is my favorite one, and that's the one that had 17%. Bad Santa, 78.
78.
Very similar to the first one.
And so what did Tim Allen and the Santa, the original?
73 or 78 or something like that?
Wait, what was it?
Let's see here.
Because if that's how we could play the matchups, that would be an interesting rundown.
Yeah, the first Santa Claus, 73.
73. So Billy Bob would have beat Tim Allen in the popular vote.
Which is oddly enough, this is a weird
But
thing.
I think that's, once again, we just argued it. This was why we chose Tim Allen.
Yeah.
This is why we have the discussion, because the Billy Bob is more, his character plays Santa Claus throughout the movie, but he's just his own character that's the POS.
The Santa Claus, its audience score is lower than its tomato meter. And you don't see that very often.
Go look up Santa Claus, the movie.
I couldn't get it to pop up on here, but when I looked it up online, it's at 33%.
33% versus Elf, which Elf has got to be in the 70s, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I would think that Elf has to be
I
in
bet
the
its
70s.
audience score is in the 90s.
Very possible. Hey,
86.
86. See,
Yeah.
like that would blow
Another
everybody
one,
away.
audience score 79. How's that? That's crazy. Elf is fantastic.
Artie Lang, you brought up, played Santa.
Yeah, for a little bit
in the movie Elf. There was he played the fake Santa.
Yes,
in the movie Elf. Now, Artie's still alive.
He is.
But, dude, that documentary on him was nuts.
Yeah, he had a rough go of it.
This dude's life was just a mess, Jay. An absolute mess. I don't even know how he got it. Anyway,
he had all that cartilage loss in his nose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see it now, it looks all weird. Anyway, Tim Allen, your big winner of the 2024
Mr. Allen.
Christmas
Buzz Light
Tournament of Pop Culture. Yeah, you've got a couple of things, like, once again, listen, if you go to jail for selling crack and cocaine to people,
in the 70s,
and you're able,
it was in the 70s.
You're not only able to pull off the Santa Claus as a franchise, but also Toy Story and like 3 other things.
Right. And the TV
you
show?
have now been given way too much love in life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. One of those is enough for most people. Rick Moranis is still living off Honey, I Shrunk Your Kids and Ghostbusters 1 money, okay? So chill, okay? Just chill, like for real. Our last thing here on the Christmas show, sir. The worst gift wrappers in America.
Oh, I got to be one of them.
They're old Midwestern men. That's right. A lot of people could use some help wrapping presents at this time of year, Jason, but you're not going to ask anyone, especially if you live in the Midwest. Right. A poll asked people, how good or bad are you at wrapping gifts? About 2/3 of America said they are good or very good at it. 1 in 5 people said they are somewhat bad. And 1 in 10 said that they're very bad at it. Now, I would say that I'm probably somewhat bad.
I'm probably a 6 out of 10.
I would say I'm about a 5 out of 10. That's
maybe I might be lower than. I'm pretty good if it's a nice square box.
I understand the way it works. I'm cool with the ability to, and I know multiple ways to do it. So I'm dangerous in that regards. But the dangerous is ugly. It's an ugly dangerous. Yeah. You know, it's like, yes.
It's only be ripped apart.
Yes, we could use a silencer on the gun, but Mark does it ugly. It's going to be loud. He's probably going to use a grenade, okay? It's not going to be a gun like you want, okay? It's not going to be quiet. It's going to be loud, okay? That's what we're talking about here. People most likely to admit that they're terrible at wrapping presents are men, Jason,
right?
Especially older men living in the Midwest. And let's be honest, it takes practice to get really good at it, but there's no skill at being decent at it.
But you know what? Why? They're only going to tear it apart.
You're just going to be willing to make an effort.
Right? Unless they're going to be presented and put out on display, I'm not wrapping something I don't work at Macy's.
You don't?
Right? I don't work at a gift wrapping store.
The only other thing I want to talk about here before we get out of here on this show is even if parents think they're splitting household chores, 71% of the brain work falls on the mothers, the moms.
Oh, okay.
Check this out. It's easy to think that you're splitting household chores. Like, I'll take out the trash, you can deep clean the bathrooms. Yeah. But there's a little more nuance than that. Okay, Jay?
Okay.
In a study, I'm choking over here. I don't know why. In a study in the Journal of Marriage and Family analyzed 3,000 American households with at least one child under the age of 18, it found that there is a mental load disparity and that 71% of the household brain work falls on the moms, while fathers manage just 45% of it. Those who don't add up to 100, partially because the study was inclusive of LGBTQ plus parents and single parents and other things like that. The study identified 2 categories of brain labor: daily tasks focused on immediate family well-being, right? And episodic tasks related to maintenance and finances. Mothers shoulder 79% of the daily tasks, more than twice what fathers do, 37%. That includes tracking children's schedules, meal planning, monitoring the household supplies. Fathers take on more of the episodic stuff, the mental work, 65% actually, Jay, though mothers still handle a significant portion, 53% of these tasks as well. Moms do a lot is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sure they do.
And it sounds like there is some duplication there. For example, a majority of mothers, 61%, and fathers, 57%, report being primarily responsible for tracking household expenses.
Okay.
Who handles the household expenses in your house?
That's my wife.
See, that's my wife in my house, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it very well.
It's not that I couldn't do it very well. I was the son of a banker. My mom was a teller. I could do all that stuff.
I can do all the adding.
But she keeps track.
I just
way
might not
better
maybe
than I
pay
do.
certain things. I
All
might
right.
forget.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's time for us to get out of here.
Yes.
You can hear Silent Night or some other Christmas song playing in the background right now.
So sweet.
It's so sweet. And it's so... It
Fluffy
might not even
snow.
be. It might just be like the Britney Spears and Elton John version of Tiny Dancer or something. I don't know. It could be
many
anything.
covers of many
Could be a
Christmas
Dua Lipa
songs.
cover. I don't know. It could be.
It's still Christmas.
It's
Enjoy.
Christmas time, and ladies and gentlemen, it's been a weird Christmas for me and Jay this year.
Odd stuff.
We ended up running into a problem. We were too liberal.
That's right.
We were born to have a brain and think about, we can shoot guns and put out fires and understand politics. Like we can do all 3 of those things. Right. That's what we're good at. All of those things. And I could be a pro wrestler too. I can do all 3 of those things and be a good pro wrestler. Like all of those things. So, ladies and gentlemen,
and be honest.
Here's what I want you to understand. Even though that we've had a bit of a rough time because elections went the way that they went and people got butthurt.
That was sour.
And decided to be pathetic and do things to us.
Yeah.
We want to wish them, as well as all of you out there, a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And a Happy New Year. Oh, did the liberals just say Merry Christmas?
Oh, all right.
There's a war on it,
Our
Jay.
entire life.
Our whole life.
I've never heard anyone else.
No. My favorite, Jay, this is a true story. We went out to dinner to Texas Roadhouse the other night. and it's decorated up for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. The waitress at the thing, she comes up to the table and she goes, I just wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for being here tonight. And looks around real quick and goes, I know that it's not fashionable, but Merry Christmas. I just wanted to tell you that. And we're like, yeah, Merry Christmas, no problem. She goes, oh, you guys are cool with that? And we're like, yeah.
Everyone is.
Here's
idiot.
the funny part. We're in Missouri, a red state,
Right.
out closer to in St. Louis on the outer edge area, so more towards the rurals. And 2, she literally was standing under a banner that said Merry Christmas, literally on the archway over her head. As she's sitting there explaining to us how the company looks down on these things and not everybody's a part of it and is cool with it. I'm like, then why are they putting that up on their wall?
Right.
Why are you allowed to tell me it here? Why did we... guys, you're just making more problems for yourself. Listen to the Mark and Jasons of the world. Seriously.
You know what I'd like to do?
Follow us on Twitter.
You can.
At Mark Bland. Follow us on Blue Sky.
I would like to see a study done and have like a hidden camera situation and have some of these self-professed Merry Christmas warriors, how they react if throughout an entire day they were told Happy Hanukkah.
I want to do an undercover boss where Trump has to play undercover boss to Musk and Vivek and everybody at their jobs throughout this first year of the term. And then I want to watch that episode as he explains and discuss it with them. And they're like, you sound a lot like Donald Trump.
Right.
Like he's really unique in the way that he talks and acts.
You look exactly like Donald Trump in blackface.
Like literally, it's horrible. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
He would do it in blackface. That would be his undercover disguise.
He might.
He would.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas from me and my
see
family.
you
to
on
all
the
of
flip
you.
side.
We will see you guys first week of January, fresh off the top, live, news radio, KYRO.com, 105.3, 1280 AM, KYRO, back on there, WIBH. The show comes back from its hiatus.
Yeah.
And we are going to discuss politics, and we are going to say that Donald Trump is not right.
He is not right.
About a lot of things.
He doesn't care about you.
And we really don't care what you think.
Nope.
Okay? We're just putting it out there. That's it. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write.